All right, everyone. Dragon Source here, live on New Earth. Today we've got a very special guest. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Good afternoon. My name is Michael.
Michael Weibelhaus, local legend, the insider, Masonic type knowledge, even deeper than that. He knows all about what the Shadow Elite are doing. All right, this video is going to be about geoengineering and how the Shadow Elite are using that to manipulate the population. Take it away, Michael.
Well, you control the weather, you control the food, you control the food, you control the population, and patents go back to the early 20th century in the 1900s. That's when the early patents were, but they really didn't have it down in terms of being able to steer the low pressures and high pressures like they do now. And if you look at the map, you'll always see a low pressure that's spinning in the Bering Strait up in Alaska, and that's been manipulated over this winter. You'd see that it dropped south into Canada, and that's what caused all these storms and precipitation amounts back up to what would be considered normal, and that's around 35 inches of precipitation in the form of rain here in the valley annually, and that's basically from October to March. Today being the 16th of March, so we're in mid-March here. We're getting close to the beginning of the season of sacrifice that begins March 21st. And so from March 21st to May Day, May 5th, that's when all of the crazy events in history have happened, a lot of them anyway. The Columbine shooting, Sandy Hook, the sinking of the Titanic. These are all occurred in April, which is the midpoint of the season of sacrifice. So we're probably going to see some activity this year because it was a leap year this year. Easter's 2 weeks earlier. Usually it's the second Sunday in April, but it's the 31st coming up here in 2 weeks from tomorrow. And so spring, the season of sacrifice, begins on the 21st. That's upcoming as well. Tomorrow, the first 100 people in line at Fifth and Ivy there in Chico get a free t-shirt. It's green beer all day, and if you've ever been to that shindig, you're going to be really drunk by noon.
All right, Michael. So what makes spring the season of sacrifice? Why sacrifice things in the spring?
It's part of the numerology that the elite work with, and I'm not privy to it in terms of my study, uh, but it's just my understanding that things happen. On I believe it was the 21st, the year 2003. So March 21st, 2003. So 3 plus 2 is 5, plus 1 is 6, plus 2, that we're in the 2000 part of that equation, that's 8. 8
Mm-hmm.
plus 0 is 8, 8 plus 0 is 8, 8 plus 3, 11.
Mm-hmm.
So 11 is the Luciferian's magic number. Everything is triggered on 11s. And that's why the attack on Iraq happened on that day, the 21st of March, 2003, the beginning of the season of sacrifice, to claim that they murdered Saddam Hussein, who had weapons of mass destruction. How do you know he had weapons of mass destruction? Well, we looked at the receipt.
Yeah.
The American government sold them the weapons to use on, well, they're pretty violent folk over there. You got the Shias and the Sunnis and the other ones, and they're just kind of a little bit radical about the way that they behave. And so we sold them the bombs so they could blow up the Kurds, is actually who they got. And Saddam Hussein, by the way, was never murdered.
Mm-hmm.
And he was actually the handler of Barack Obama. That's why Barack Obama's middle name is Hussein.
Well, how can he handle him from across the seas?
Well, he didn't really spend that much time over there. He likes Baghdad. It's on the Tigris and the Euphrates coming together. That's where the Fertile Crescent, the discovery of agriculture, happened right there. So he likes it there. He's got a nice palace and everything. He's kicking it. He's got a fairly nice helicopter and airplane, or two or three. But he does spend quite a bit of time in Washington. They actually, they travel in an underground tunnel system, and they have what's called maglev trains, so they're magnetically levitated.
Hmm.
So they run on magnetism, and they scoot at about 5,000 miles an hour.
Wow.
So they can get in about 45 minutes. Feinstein and Pelosi can travel from Sacramento to DC in 45 minutes.
Can they go? Are these underground tunnels?
Go all over the world.
But are they also underneath the ocean? Like, could you go from here to China in those tunnels?
They do all the time.
Wow.
They will Sunday at midnight, as a matter of fact.
What happens then?
All the decisions are made for the upcoming week and beyond are all made starting at midnight on Sunday. That's when all the elite get together. Um, they take these fancy rides in their in their underground tunnels. Who knows
Being
what?
served caviar and
Oh yeah. The dining's pretty good
all the
down
good
there.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe got a few boy toys.
maybe some boy toys and things like that. And
You're
they get
right.
together, yeah, and they get together and they get together in Washington there and come up underground and hang out and plan our demise.
It's a good way of putting it. So, is there any new agendas they're pushing we should be aware of?
Not that I'm aware of. They're just going to push the same ones. Um, we're looking at a pretty good year. Inflation's pretty stable. The housing market's not frenzied, but it's good. Stock market's still at an all-time high. It hasn't crashed. I don't think they're going to do a bank holiday anytime soon. So, just go ahead and keep your money in the bank, and it's a secure place. And nothing that I've heard of, at least today.
Gotcha. Could you explain to me the dynamics of how a handler works? I've actually recently made a video about handlers, and maybe my viewers would like more information about the energy dynamics of how someone actually handles someone. Are they under mind control, or what's the situation here with Hussein and Obama?
Well, the first thing they do is they go through dissociative identity programming disorder. So their entire person is reprogrammed so that they can puppet the way they're supposed to, so that when they do their interviews and things like that, that they say the right things, they look the right way, and behave the right way, because they're basically they're just figureheads. There's something for people to get all excited about, which you've seen happen already with the March 5th elections of the supervisors and the other uh, points of interest and positions that happened on March 5th. I don't know any specifics. I just was aware of it. And then, of course, we're coming up in November, we're going to have a presidential selection. So everybody's getting pretty excited about that. Is it going to be Biden again, or we're going to get Trump again, or, you know, maybe we'll get a black woman.
Hopefully not Kamala. um, so how do you actually break down someone's personality and then reprogram it from a psychological level? Like, what is the protocol there?
Everybody has their breaking point, so they basically break them down,
Torture.
torture, and then they set them up. They set them up with certain things that would, if it got out, they'd be lynched in the streets because mom and dad won't put up with that.
Hmm.
So they do some pretty horrible things to them to keep them in line, and it's a form of MK Ultra.
MK Ultra. Are there drugs involved as well to make this thing work?
I've been checking in on that, seeing if I could get a hold of those drugs. I haven't been able to score anything yet, but as I understand, yeah, they do. The psychotropes they use aren't available to the rest of us.
So this goes beyond just LSD and mushrooms and things like that.
Who said I said that? Yeah, it does. Yeah, I'm not privy to any of the specifics or any of the actual chemistry behind it, but it's my understanding that yes, they're incredibly powerful.
Wow. Okay. So if Can the average person use any of the techniques that the elite use to break down a personality and reprogram them into like a very powerful figure? Can the average person apply any of those techniques to themselves for personal transformation?
I wouldn't say the average person would, but somebody like yourself with high intellect and abilities can do it for sure.
So where would I start? How would I do it?
Well, that's off camera.
All right, we're gonna have to make that a bonus or something. Paid content. All right. Okay. Well, anything else you want to tell us about, Mike?
Oh, it's just a fantastic day. You know, the geoengineering worked really good. We got a lot of water. That's a bonus. That's good for the agriculture. Again, if California stood alone, it would be the third largest gross national product in the whole world because of the agriculture here, and we need water. So we got a lot of water. We have some mild temperatures happening today. It's 75 degrees, 78 tomorrow, continuing, but decreasing temperatures and some more precipitation this time next week.
Michael the Weatherman. There you have it. Um, Anything else you want to talk about while we have the viewers' attention?
Dragon, it's always a pleasure to be interviewed by you and to be in your presence. You're a wonderful human being.
Well, thanks, Mike. It means a lot to me. This man has a heart of gold and a mind of silver. All right. That'll do it for us. Live from Source Nation on New Earth. Let's go. The Dragon and Weibelhaus, the local legend.